My name is Nihal Alwen, and I'm the founder of Tayybeh Foods. My background was in international development, and I worked in this domain for 17 years, always on research and projects focusing on gender and women's issues in the Middle East. And I started Tayybeh about 7 years ago. So Tayybeh is a social enterprise, a full-service caterer, and a food processor based in Vancouver. And our mission is to employ and empower refugee and newcomer women from Syria and the Middle East.
Tell us about Tayybeh. What does it mean? What inspired the name?
Tayybeh is an Arabic word that means kind in the feminine form, and in the Syrian or Levantine dialect it means delicious. We're a group of women who are very kind, very generous, very giving, very resilient, who make delicious food. So Tayybeh seemed like the best word to reflect that. What happened was when I came to Vancouver, I was still working as a consultant. There was a devastating Syrian civil war that happened, and Canada received tens, if not hundreds of thousands of refugees from Syria. And so back in 2015, I volunteered with an organization that was supporting the newly arrived families. So I met with a lot of families, and I was really struck by sort of the devastation and the sheer shock that they were in, because they literally just arrived. And I really felt like I needed to do something to help, given that I speak Arabic, and specifically I wanted to support women. Because at the time, all the women that I met were 100% reliant on their husbands or their sons or their brothers, for their day-to-day life. I had this idea of organizing a pop-up dinner, and the idea was to get some Syrian women to cook for, a bunch of Canadians that they don't know, and to sort of demonstrate their culinary skills. I remember that first dinner, people would come up to the Syrian ladies who were cooking, they would hug them and they would cry, and they were so warm and so incredibly kind. And so from that point forth, we launched Tayybeh as a full-service caterer, and then the operation grew and grew and grew.
What kind of experience do you want visitors who come in to taste Syrian food walk away with?
What I'm hoping for people to know is that Syrian food is an extremely rich, diverse, flavorful cuisine, similar to Italian food maybe.
In what ways does Tayybeh empower Syrian women chefs and the larger narrative around women of color running the business?
A few years ago, there was another journalist who was asking one of my team members what is the thing that she values the most about her experience with Tayybeh. And then she said, the moment when my son wanted to buy something, and instead of going to ask his dad, he came and asked me. And I opened my wallet and I gave him money.
I imagine that the Turkey and Syria earthquake must have been a very difficult time for many Syrian women chefs here. Could you tell me about some of the initiatives of Tayybeh?
My head chef, she's been with me for 7 years. Her daughter works with us. Her son was working with us, so I know her family very, very well. Just her, she lost 15 members of her family in that earthquake. One of the biggest challenges that we faced for sure was COVID-19. And then so for 2 years, people were not allowed to gather. So that was an extremely difficult time emotionally and psychologically, because, we built something and all of a sudden cut. There was a month, I remember March 2020, when every single catering job we had was just getting canceled one step, one after the other. And I didn't have a plan B. My team was incredibly resilient. And I remember once I walked into the kitchen very distressed, because I'm like, I don't know what to do. And they said, what are you so worried about? We've been through war. We're very thick-skinned. It's okay. It's going to be okay.
What's next for Tayybeh and you?
We're about to open up our first cafe in Kitsilano. We also have a line of retail products, and I think very soon we're going to be launching these products in a lot of stores. The bigger we get, the more we can employ newcomer and refugee women from the Middle East. And my hope is for Tayybeh eventually to be the household name that people associate with good, amazing, delicious and healthy Middle Eastern food and also of human resilience.